Okay, going live on Facebook now. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes for some people to join. So today, welcome everyone. I hope that we've started at a new time, which it's confusing because it may seem the same time for some people, but it's 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So it used to be at 10 a.m., but it seems to be that 11 a.m. is a better time for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere. So welcome to the new time at 11 a.m. So this is my weekly Recode and Masterclass. And today we are going to talk about, hi Jackie. Today we're going to be talking about our 3D value system and our 5D value system. I'm actually quite excited about this topic. It sounds like it's something a little different to what we've been talking about, but actually it's the same thing, maybe described in a different way. So hi. Oh, I can see you're driving. So, drive careful. So let me get started. And first, it's really, as we talk about 3D to 5D, they're kind of buzzwords in the personal development and spiritual world at the moment. So I just want to give you what my understanding or how I see those terms and how I'm going to be using them today and how they do relate to the usual terminology I use, which is conscious, unconscious, superconscious. So we're going to be talking about the old paradigm and the new paradigm, old being the 3D structure and the new paradigm being the 5D, fifth dimension structure. And those of you that are on the spiritual path, the spiritual journey of growth and expansion, that's where we're heading to. Because when we move into the fifth dimension or the superconscious way of living our life from that plane, from that frequency, it's when we're living our life through flow. So that's what I describe it. So we're moving from fear to flow. And those of you who are observing the current state of the 3D world, the physical world we're living into, it's very much motivated by fear, often. Fear and also problem solving. And so this is why I wanted to sort of move in that we get to choose the value system from where we create from. And so if we want to live a life of flow, if we want to live a life that is connected to our authentic truth and our true self, to have the best experience in this physical realm, then it's always about growing and expanding to come to remember that we are creators, because that's how we were born. We were born to be creative spirits. So I'll just give you my understanding of so this chart or this diagram, which those of you that have been working with me for a while have seen me draw many times, because I think this is the premise of all of my work, that we are three parts and we are needing to learn how to be working as a mind, body, spirit complex, or conscious, unconscious, superconscious. We are three parts and we're learning how to navigate ourselves. Oh, like that. I haven't pressed record. So I'll just, so we were talking about the 3D value system to the 5D value system and how to create a life that you love from this place. So it's looking at the old paradigm to the new paradigm. And the old paradigm being this old 3D matrix system that is limited, that is one that's stuck in duality, and moving towards the fifth dimension or 5D reality, is also called superconscious reality, which is different, which it comes from a place of wholeness, where 3D is anchored in duality and separation, and 5D is unlimited and it's about wholeness, where we already have the understanding that we're coming from a mind, body, spirit complex, that we are working as three parts, and we know how to navigate our world from that place. So going through this diagram again. So we are born beautiful spiritual beings from the superconscious. We've chosen to come here. We are pure consciousness, we're unlimited, and we chose to come and have a physical experience. So we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. And everyone that's listening to this call, I'm sure, is aware of that premise and that concept. So we're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So when we're born, so this goes back to the human journey, when we come into this physical realm, this 3D duality, this world that is based in duality and separation. And separation happens often between the ages of 0 and 7, when we go through the individuation process of we start creating beliefs of how we see the world. We create identities on how we're going to navigate ourselves in this world, and that often separates us from our true self, being this beautiful, superconscious, unlimited being. But that's part of the journey, is for us to come here and learn how to be and go through those lessons and experiences to remember that we are beautiful creators, that we're not separate, that we are part of wholeness, that we have that divine spark within us, and we're connected to something so much greater than ourselves. And when that really hits home, and many of us that are in this journey right now, we have the awareness of this possibility, but we haven't necessarily embodied that state. Because otherwise, if you'd really embodied the state, you probably wouldn't be doing this call right now, because you'd be living your best life. You'd have the things that you want. So this is the teaching. This is the learning. So when we come in this 3D reality, as I said before, it's based in duality. It means there's things that we want and things that we don't want. There's good, bad, hot, cold. And, this goes back to the Hermetic principles. And from this, we are separate. Now, speaking of the 3D, 5D, not excluding 4D. 4D is the bridge. 4D is our unconscious mind. Unconscious mind is where we can reprogram to create this world in the physical. So if we've got bad or old programs that come from our 3D world, we're going to keep creating the same things. But when we upgrade to our superconscious and upgrade our, let's say, our software in our unconscious mind, that then downloads so we can create a better experience in this physical 3D world. So the 4D unconscious mind is the bridge to what we want and what we don't want. It's the bridge to whether we choose to live from a superconscious state, or whether we're just going around in circles between conscious and unconscious, and oscillating between what we want and what we don't want, or just feeling stuck, or feeling like we're in a rut. So this is the bridge that we can choose to upgrade this software, or it's the bridge that leads to nowhere and we just keep going around in circles. So it can lead us to there, or it can just keep sending us back round and round. So what are some of the values? So as we've done values before, and those that I've got some new people joining in the inner circle that are probably watching the replay. The values is something we do at the first part of the coaching program. We look at our true choices and we look at values, and our values are a state of being. So everything that you've created in your life up until now is because of your values. And probably the values that you had in the old paradigm, the values that you had that created the life that you're living right now are stemmed from the 3D matrix. And as we're going to have a look at now, that 3D matrix is stemmed in one of separation, and one of duality, one of fear, one of lack, and one very much of being not enough. And it has those core beliefs. So it's all stemmed in what separates us, not what allows us to be the full expression of ourselves, which is a creator. So I'm just going to share my screen. Wrong one. Okay. So let's go into what is driving the 3D. What is driving our self-conscious 3D mind? or our reality. And most of the time, it's absolutely duality. Like I said, we're always moving between what we want and what we don't want. Judgment, external validation, which is, often the things you've created in this lifetime or to date has often been related to external validation. Is it what my friends value? Is it what my parents value? What the collective value? So often this is when we get into the box ticking of going to school, going to university, getting the job, getting married, buying the house, going on the holiday, having the 2.5 children, whatever it is, you're ticking the boxes of, external validation. This is what's expected. This will bring me joy, happiness. This is what is described as a good life. Never tapping into your true, authentic truth of this is what a good life is, or this is a life that I love. So this is why often people who have either achieved the home, the marriage, the children, the corporate career, the money, often can be in a place of unfulfillment because they are coming from an external. So the 3D has been based around, this is where there's a distortion that we, as within, so without, we have without looking at the outside and saying, okay, I need to change that first. I need to change the outside first so I'll feel better on the inside. And it's like, that's when we get into this cycle of this chicken and the egg scenario of like, well, I need to change I need that to come into my reality first before I can feel good or before I do anything. And that's when, you get stuck. So external validation is a big driving force in this 3D reality, needing to be enough. So when we go into those core beliefs, being enough is related to so much, and we're constantly trying to solve this problem of being enough. Do I have enough? Am I being enough? Am I enough? Do I know enough? Am I loved enough? Whatever enoughness that you're trying to resolve, and you get into problem solving, it's like that's a premise of this 3D reality. Also, the other core beliefs of needing to belong, perfectionism, not trusting the outside world. So, that could come up, that, I don't trust, feeling insignificant and trying to resolve that of feeling insignificant in this place. So you'll see people, especially with social media, there's like the need to show people how good everything is. And there's nothing wrong with sharing beautiful experiences, because I think, but is it about the likes that you're going to get? Is it about the validation? Is it about the needing to, and like saying it there exactly like that, needing to be liked, needing for those clicks? And you see the youth of today with like things like TikTok and Instagram, this constant driving force of validation separates us from our true choices and separates us from who we truly are as creative beings. So, and the other one is the results over alignment. So, and this is like, well, I need that job, or I need that car. So or I need to earn that money. So it's like, instead of getting into alignment, which we've spoken about, I will refer back to, if we're talking about our frequency, and the course that Jackie's doing, that I'm working with her on, the shift in frequency course, we speak a lot about how to shift our frequency and moving into alignment. So if you're trying to create something and you're in the frequency of fear, the results you get will be unfulfilling, because you're trying to solve a problem. You're separated. If you're in the alignment of love, if you're in the alignment of oneness, of peace, of joy, the results you're going to get is completely different. And this is where we look at the saying, be, do, have, that you need to be who you are in the end result, the alignment of that. And this is what we do in the Recode. We move into alignment of who are you in the end result. Well, how do you feel? How you feel is a direct relationship to your frequency. So results over alignment is that we're trying to tick boxes. We're trying to get the results of the money first, the business first, the relationship, and then I'll feel better. I'll get that job, then I'll feel better. I'll have that money, and then I'll feel better. I'll go on that holiday, and then my life will feel better, or whatever it is. It's results over alignment. So it's do, have, be, instead of be, do, have. So we need to get into a light, like to when we're coming from superconscious, when we're coming from that fifth dimension, my consciousness, we get into alignment first, because our alignment, our frequency is everything. Like attracts like. So even though you may get the results coming from fear, this is why so many people create things, because their fear of losing it. They'll create money out of desperation because, I need money to survive. I need money to pay my rent. I need money. But that is also when overwhelm and burnout and fatigue happens, because you're not in alignment with your end result. And maybe the end result you're choosing isn't the one for you. Maybe it's going back to the external validation. You're choosing a result that is based on someone else's expectation of success. So, and when we're doing that, we feel enslaved. And this is where we have slave codes, which are like our limited core beliefs. Often in this 3D reality, we feel enslaved by our commitments, our responsibilities, our jobs, the matrix that it has to be this way, instead of moving into the real nature of our power and feeling empowered, where we become these sovereign, empowered beings that chooses our reality, that are the creators of our reality. This is where enslavement is about victimhood. Enslavement is about trying to solve the problems. So you can, it's like we're having a war to get peace. It doesn't work. It's enslavement. It's a distortion. And we can feel enslaved by the matrix, or I'm trying to think of the right word. We can feel enslaved by the structure of the world that we've created. And often we've chosen a path that maybe not necessarily is for us, or we've chosen a path that the collective has said, this is how it is, this is how it works. So when we move out of victimhood, when we no longer are enslaved by this external validation and needing to be enoughness, that's when we can start feeling empowered and creating from that more expanded heart space. Status in the 3D world, where we are obsessed with status, many of us, needing to be loved by others, we either admire people or put people on pedestals, or we want that status for ourselves. If I have more money, I'll be respected. If I have more of what, they all run into each other, like being enough. The status is like, if I'm this, then I will have, if I have that status, then I'll be enough, then I'll have enough, then I'll be loved, then I'll belong. So the status is really driven in this 3D reality. So when you go back to your values, when you go back, what were the things that were important to you 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that created the world you are now? And how were they related and anchored into this 3D? When I look back at mine, very much, I was doing jobs that I believed gave me status in my social circle. Money was important for security and to feel like I belonged in this status group. So this is where money in the 3D is always about, providing security and safety, and money isn't any of those things, but we have this attachment that what it's going to provide for us. So if we are looking at security and safety, then we are coming from a place of fear and lack, that we don't have it. That, the duality of money brings us status. Money brings enslavement. Money brings if you ask people about the jobs that they work and feeling enslaved by their jobs so they can get money to live, to survive, to stay in this construct. Now, looking at all of these aspects of being separated in this 3D reality, I'm not being negative about this physical experience. This physical experience is amazing. And we have such the ability to feel such a gamut of emotions. We have the ability to create and experience such joy and such tragedy. But that experience can be seen as something that is, that we have the ability to feel and move through this frequency of emotion so much that probably as a consciousness wasn't available to us. That's why we chose to have a physical experience, so we could feel and navigate ourselves and learn how to be creators when we are in a place of duality. So the physical world, we have food, we have beautiful, places to visit in the world and experiences and learn how to become alchemists and there's magical things, and this physical world is amazing. We have the ability to feel such love for our partners, love for our children, love for our purpose and mission. We have this physical world is truly incredible, and we want the best experience. And the reason we're probably here today is because we've experienced great things and we just want more of it. We have seen it. We've either observed beautiful experiences, we've had moments of it, we've been maybe in and out of it, but we just want more of it. And so this is where, when we're moving into our new value system, when we're choosing our values, what's important to us, it's not saying that we don't want to experience this physical world. It's not saying that we don't want more money, because money is something that enhances our experience. But we got to see it differently. Like if we're coming from, when we have fear around money, and that has been a great one for me moving through, is grief around money and fear around money, the fear of losing it, the grief of money lost, or the fear of, the feeling enslaved by it, feeling of not belonging. When I have it, I'll feel like I belong. All these things. It's been a very emotional experience, one of abundance, but our birthright is freedom and abundance. And so that is the premise that we work from, that we want freedom and abundance. We want health. That's our birthright, to keep this beautiful body healthy and to move through it and to learn how to heal and to create. And that's all part of it, to learn how to use this physical tool, which is our physical being, which is our tuning fork in this physical experience. There is so much that we can just love about this experience, but when we're choosing our values, we need to maybe look at it from a new perspective, because we want to have the best physical experience. But when we are anchored into the value system of this 3D reality, it's what we've created now. So when we move into our fifth reality, our 5D reality, this is when it creates something different. So how's this going with everyone? How are you finding this information? You can put some questions in the chat room. So when we're choosing to come from this fifth dimension, this super conscious value system, we have to actually make the decision to be brave enough to be not enough in the old system. So what does that mean? It's not that we've got to be brave enough to be not enough in the old system. It means we're not anchored in to other people's expectations of ourselves. It means we're not anchored in to feeling like we need to belong to others. So we've got to be brave enough to be not enough. We've got to be connected to our own truth. And so this is where people get shaky and like, you know, when it's, what do we have to give up to have that life of alignment? We have to give up this old stuff. Like we have to give up being a victim. We have to give up needing to be validated by others, needing to crave status. And so this is the fine line. This is the dance between living a superconscious life and living a life that's based in the 3D. You can have this, you can create everything you want in this 3D duality. But if we're after that spiritual expansion and to live in those higher states of consciousness, we do have to give up the things that have seemed important in the past. But it doesn't mean you have to give up having more money or having that beautiful home or going on holidays or having that beautiful relationship or having a beautiful, healthy body. You don't have to give up that, but your perspective needs to change. Your perspective of how you see where you're coming from. So we're no longer creating from this up. We're creating from the top down. And when we are in this fifth dimension, when we're coming from superconscious, when we are whole, when we're wholeness, mind, body, spirit complex working together, these things that separate us are not important. We're not judging, and you know, we give up judging others. This is the spiritual soapbox some people get on, that I've done all this work and look at these people that they're not living a spiritual life, or they're not living from a place of no judgment and they're greedy. We need to let that go. We need to let go judgment. And judgment is very much separation, be it what political views you have, be it which side of the fence you stand on in different polarizing topics that are happening in this world at the moment. You need to just give up judgment. Be in your truth. People may fall away. It doesn't mean people won't judge you, but when you're coming from that higher state of consciousness, it doesn't seem so important. So where are your values coming from now? If we're coming from this fifth dimension value system, and we still want to create a beautiful experience in this physical. So let's have a look at what is the fifth dimension, where the third dimension reality is driven by separation. The fifth dimension is driven by oneness, driven by wholeness. It means that we move from a place of alignment over results. Okay, there's a bit of a spell, and we have non-judgmental discernment. So we're coming from a place of non-judgment. We can observe a situation and we can choose that this is more in alignment with us, but we're not, you see, where people choose sides and they just have to, you know, that's a hill they'll die on. So whatever their group chooses to be, it's like, well, that's who I have to be on. I'm going to judge everyone else on the other side. When you have fifth dimensional discernment, you can just choose into your truth, what's true for you. And that may oscillate between sides. That may feel very aligned to one side, but you're not part of a side. You're just coming from a place of discernment and non-judgment. You choose love over separation. You love yourself, so you understand that you are enough. You're not trying to solve that problem. So you're choosing love over fear. You're choosing love over separation. You're loving yourself. You're tapping into your truth. So you're no longer trying to solve that problem of being enough or not belonging. I was listening to to Brene Brown, and there was one thing she said. She said, we can walk through this world looking for conditions of us not belonging, and we will find them every time. But when you're coming from the fifth dimension, you can observe that, you know, you're not going to feel lack from the place of not belonging. You know that you belong because you're part of everyone. There's oneness, and people may have different points of view to you. Even your family members may feel like they have different points of view, but you still belong, and you can love from that point. So love over separation. So I'm doing it because I love it. I'm just doing it because I love it. I want a beautiful home because I love decorating, and I can enhance my drive to express myself in this physical realm. And I'm doing it because I love it, not because this house will be a status symbol among my social circle, or this will be a status symbol among the people in my street, or, you know, even the car. I want this car because I love it. It's not saying you don't want the physical things, but you're coming from a different place. And when you're coming from this place of love over separation, you may find that you choose different things. You may find you choose different things. In the fifth dimension, the value system, money is a friend that we co-create with. Now, money is also a measurement. But when we do the perceptual shift, which is one of the processes we use in this program, money is a friend that we simply call in to co-create with. When we have more money, we can grow our business easier. We can do things for our family. We can, you know, where money enhances who we are and what we can create. And so when you're tapped into alignment of what you truly want to create, the more money you have can create more of that. And it's like a frequency that can spread out wider. But when it comes from a place of security or lack, that I need it to survive, and it feels like it has slave codes attached to it, it becomes a contractionary tool rather than one that we can co-create with. So feeling of money as a friend that we can co-create with, that's a different perspective. In the fifth dimension value system, we no longer need money to be liked, to belong, and to be enough. And I've already sort of covered that. That probably, unless you have other questions, that probably makes enough sense. As I said, money can enhance our soul's art. The reason I'm focusing on money, because it's a big one. Also relationships. All of these things will relate to relationships, and because we often attach money and financial and relationships to our value. If we're not in a relationship, we put value on us because of it. Or if we're in a bad relationship, it identifies some limiting beliefs or identities that we have about ourselves. So we no longer need that relationship to be liked, to belong, to feel enough, to be worthy. The relationship is also a friend that you co-create with. You're choosing to be in a relationship just because I love it, just because it'll be fun to walk and create with a person. Even though you're on your own journey, it'd be fun to meet someone that you can find joy with and co-create with. Being in that relationship does not solve a problem. It's just something that you're coming to co-create with. Your soulmate is someone you co-create with. Maybe someone you have a contract with in a previous life, and even challenging relationships that could be ones that you've had contracts with in previous life that you need to learn lessons from. But money and relationships often, and food. So this is the same thing. You know, we often use food to be a deterrent, like you use it as a feeling of feeling not enough, or you know, however you use things in your life to become friends and co-create with them. You know, food is just something in this world, and our health is something we can co-create with. Our physical body, our physical health. You know, often dis-ease is being not in alignment, or being separate from actually feeling into what your body needs, what your body truly needs. Pain in the body is telling you what you need and what you don't need. It's trying to communicate with you. So when we're in the fifth dimension, when we're coming from that value system, we can hear those messages. So instead of doing things for a result, trying to solve a problem, so this is where we get into a problem solving, we do it for play, fun, pleasure. We're doing things because we love it. We want to create because it's fun. We're doing it because we can. And that is that, you know, that beautiful innocence, innocence of a child. It's like we can do all of that because we can. And we're doing it because we love it. So this is the fifth dimension, and this is where we come from oneness. So when you're looking at your values, like what's important to you, if financial security is important to you, how can we move that to a fifth dimension? Like, what does financial security bring you? So maybe what does money enhance in your life? So then the value is like, I want to do more things with it. Maybe you want to create a legacy for your children. Maybe you want to, you know, maybe travel's important. Maybe having that home to gather your family in. Like a big home with someone sitting in it by themselves is not probably a fulfilling situation. So why do we want a home? Because we want to create a space to share with others. So this is where coming to a place of oneness is, it means that it's like a win-win-win situation. I win with what I'm putting out there, whoever I'm working with, the co-creation wins, and then it's a win for the overall. So this is where we're looking at, you know, when you're doing well and you're observing other people's situations that not as good as your own, you may feel guilt or shame about it. But that is like you're actually showing what is possible, and you can share that knowledge with people. And then it would be up to their own free will if they choose to want to expand and grow. So the fifth dimension is about creation, and it's creating from love, and it's about oneness and wholeness. So when we're looking at our values, that's where you want to start coming from. Where are you anchoring your values from? Are they coming from the third dimension, trying to solve a problem, or are you coming from the superconscious, the fifth dimension, and wanting to be supported and being a co-creator and creating a life that you can love? So the one thing I did miss from both. So the other thing is, in the fifth dimension, it's allowing as well. It is a place where we allow things to happen. Because we're in alignment, we go into the state of allowing. In the 3D matrix value system, we try and control the situation. And that's the difference. And last week I did a whole session on allowing. And so in the fifth dimension value system, it's all about allowing. We allow what the seeds that we've planted to come to fruition, because we're in alignment. We're focusing on love. So we have trust, and we're allowing. In the 3 dimension, we often are in control. We are obsessed with control. And this is where the aspects of perfectionism and things like that show up. So I hope you've enjoyed that explanation. Now, when we're doing our values, and this will be something that you can do, you may already have them written down, or it may be a process that you need to do. So I will suggest that as part of your homework after this session is that you go to your lenses document or the life mapper, where it talks about values. And what are your values? And you can put your values from 10 years ago, what was important to you 10 years ago, because those values created the life that you're living now. Have a look at them. Were they anchored in 3D? I would assume most of them would be. And then when you're stating your new values, relationships, write down what that means, because I want to co-create with someone. It'd be so much fun. You know, I want more money because it will enhance that I can do more things with it. I can build my, you know, my business will grow, and I can help people, and that brings me joy. And I can create better experiences with my family and with loved ones. I can buy a beautiful home and create a legacy. Like, a legacy is different to security. To create a legacy for children, and that's really that can come from a fifth dimension value system, because you're creating, you know, that's when there's the Matthew effect, that, you know, you want your children, your grandchildren to have something of yours. And maybe that may be abundance and freedom, knowing that that was created. So it could be about creating legacy. So when you're going through your values, like, do 10 things that are important to you now, things that you want to focus your attention on. So maybe it's creating more money. Why is that? So we look at what you want to create and where does that come from? Because the thing about money, you'll say, oh, well, money's not important to me. And the more we say that, the more it will not show us. But then without money, we can't necessarily enhance our true soul's art. I like that saying, our soul's art, and doing what feels good, and creating and getting our word out, our mission, our purpose. You know, so there may be something that money would help you enhance your current purpose, or even just what really brings you joy. Like, the more money you have, the more you can do it. Maybe you love travel. The more money you have, the more traveling and experience you can experience, life, culture, whatever. Travel can be important. You might write that. And travel never that is something people choose just because they love it. Not necessarily about status or being enough. It's travel is one of those things that's really beautiful, which is really just comes from, I just want to do it because I love it. You know, your family, that's important. How do you see that? And coming from a fifth dimension, that it's love, that you just want more great experiences with your family. You know, think of 10 things that when you're going through your true choices, and try and reframe them around a fifth dimension value system. And remember that, you know, coming from that fifth dimension value system means you have to be brave enough to be not enough in the old system. And that can be freeing, and it also can be really frightening, because there's a part of us that, you know, wants to feel enough, wants that status, wants those likes or things. Because my son, I'm trying to teach him at the moment, like he's quite competitive, and he wants people to, he's quite a bright boy, and he's like, oh, well, people don't, you know, notice that I get these good marks, or I, you know, no one because they expect it, I never get the praise that other kids who maybe struggle get a lot of praise for. Like, he was sort of talking about that. And I have tried to explain to him that when praise isn't important to you, when you're just doing it because you love it, it will feel better. You won't feel unfulfilled about it. If you're constantly seeking validation from others, you're seeking, and I mean, I probably spent a good 40 years of my life trying to be validated by others, waiting for people to see me, waiting to feel significant. Probably even longer. Probably still parts of me still working through that, for sure. For sure they are, feeling insignificant, feeling invisible. You know, so that's probably if I'm in the fifth dimension, you know, you don't care. You're just doing what you love. You're just getting on social media and you're talking about something that you love, not because of the likes, just because it feels mission focused, purpose driven, and because you love it. And you may want to share that with as many people as you can, because you know that there's great value in it, not because it's going to give you status, because that's when there's inner conflict. That's when there feels like there's judgment, and you won't put yourself out there because of judgment. So let's do just an unplugging, a recode. We're going to do a recode. I want you to choose a true choice. You can use, if this is one of your first sessions, and I know there's some new people in the group, so maybe use one of our core choices, like I choose to live a life that I love. I choose to live a life aligned to my true nature and purpose. And I want you to think about the things that I've talked about. So when you go into your end result, I want you to come from that place of just loving it. Just loving it. And choosing it because you're not there for anything else. You're coming from that heart space because you're not making it personal. Like a lot of resistance shows up when we make it personal. You know, I want that beautiful home. When it comes from the heart space, just because I love it. When it comes from my ego or the 3D reality, it's like, oh, well, those people, you know, maybe I'll be more accepted when I have that home. Maybe I'll be able to have more people over and they'll like it. You know, it'll be, you know, whatever it is where you've made it personal, or I'll be enough because I've done it. You know, you've made it personal instead of just because all the reasons why, because you love it and because you can have it. And you deserve it and it's worthy and it's just because, you know, it'd be fun to have a certain type of home, live in the country, live by the beach, live in a penthouse, whatever floats your boat. So I want you to choose a true choice. I want you to write it down. Choose a true choice. And then if everyone, those that are watching on Facebook, just type in a yes to give me permission to tap into your superconscious. Those of you who are watching the replay, just verbally and consciously give permission in the field for me to tap into your superconscious at this time, whatever time you're watching it. And I want you just to close your eyes and think about that true choice. And I'm just going to go through the metaphor of the superconscious, is that we're going to just ask the superconscious to release resistance about tapping into this fifth dimension reality. We're going to ask to tap in to release all resistance by choosing to come from this value system, not trying to solve a problem, just choosing it because we love it. And then all the things that come up, which are obviously maybe the value systems from the 3D, like status and belonging and being enough, we're just going to ask the superconscious to remove those boulders. So on the river of desire, and there's boulders stopping the flow, so moving from fear to flow, we ask the superconscious to move or shift those boulders to allow things to move through, to allow energy to move through, to allow inspiration to move through, to allow your heart to open, to feel love for that choice. So I want you just to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And I want you to feel into that space of that true choice. What is one of your values? What is one of that true choice? What's a value that you have? And I'm going to just be working on to choose a life that I love. Superconscious, do you see this end result? Do you see this true choice? Do you see it anchored in the superconscious, in this fifth dimension, this beautiful fifth dimension value system of just creating, being the creator? you see this true choice. Please tag and treat any resistance we have from choosing this, from having this, being able to manifest this. Please tag and treat all resistance. Superconscious, please speak to all identities that are anchored in the 3D matrix. Please speak to all identities and aspects that are anchored in the 3D matrix, because they've been working so hard to resolve not being enough, not having enough, not belonging. They've tried to resolve this. Please speak to these aspects, being the perfectionist, being the wounded, the victim. Please speak to these aspects and let them know that when they become part of the creative personality, when they step into the 5th dimension value system, reality, superconscious, they're going to feel more satisfaction and less pain. And that all their lessons that they've learned in this physical plane will not be lost, that you'll be able to use it at the right time to navigate yourself through this world in the best and perfect way. Please speak to all aspects. Tag and treat any resistance they feel, and letting them know when they become one, when they move into oneness, wholeness, nothing will be lost and no parts will die. And please treat this in the best and perfect way. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat the following statement. I am whole and complete. I am whole and complete. Please treat the following statement. I trust. Please tag and treat all the events that tested trust in your true self, tested trust in the superconscious, in your journey. Please treat the emotion and download the Creator's definition of trust, what it feels like to trust, and just the unwavering trust in your authentic truth. Please treat that statement in the best and perfect way and download the Creator's definition of trust, the Creator's understanding and discernment of knowing who to trust, what to trust, how to trust. Please download that on all 4 levels of belief in the best and perfect way. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat the belief of not being enough and replace it on all 4 levels with a new belief. I am love. I am enough. I am whole and complete. And please resolve on the history level. You're not bringing any old belief systems from past life where you felt like you were not. I am enough. Resolve. And I am whole and complete. I'm whole and complete. Superconscious, please treat all events in the past that triggered the old belief systems, the old matrix, and please see yourself unplug from the need of validation. I want you to visualize the metaphor of when there's all these plug-ins to the old way of being. And let's say it's a hot air balloon, and there are all these ropes that are plugged in to the old matrix, the old 3D way. One rope that's plugged in is one of not being enough. One is of judgment. One is of scarcity. One is of fear. And I want you now to visualize just these ropes. You cut them, you cut yourself free. You're unplugging from them. You cut yourself free from fear of moving into this new way of being. You cut yourself free from enslavement. You cut yourself free from the belief of not being enough. Cut yourself free from the belief of needing to belong and to be of status, of comparison. Superconscious, please treat the fear around the unknown. Please treat the fear around unknown of cutting yourself off and grounding yourself into the beautiful crystalline core of the fifth dimension earth. Please treat the fear on all levels. Please treat the memories and events that cause the fear of the unknown. Please treat these in the best and perfect way. Thank you. And as you see your hot air balloon, and you see as you start floating up, you see all the timelines you can choose. And you can direct yourself towards them. You can choose it from this place now that you're not anchored in to the old structure, the old paradigm. You can choose a new structure, one that you love. Choose that one, that life that you love, that life you can love with the people you love just because you love it. Please treat any fear around belonging and losing friends. If there's any fear around losing the old, please treat that in the best and perfect way on all levels and all dimensions. Please replace with unconditional love. Superconscious, please treat all secondary intentions. Please treat all secondary intentions. Please treat any vows that have been taken in this lifetime, past life, or ancestrally that have prevented you from moving into your next chapter. Please treat these, resolve them, and replace with unconditional love in the best and perfect order. Thank you. Superconscious, please treat all body systems, chakras, energy systems. Allow energy to move freely. Please treat any tear in the energy systems that allow energy to release. Please treat the root chakra, ground, around the belief of belonging and family and money, the fear around money in the root chakra. Please treat that in the best and perfect way and clear that energy flows freely, that you clear energy from root to crown, that you are connected to source consciousness, you are connected to the beautiful crystalline core of the fifth dimensional earth, Mother Gaia. And you are connected to create on this plane. Superconscious, please treat all memories that we've touched on today. Please tag and treat on all timelines, all dimensions, and please ground into the benevolent matrix of the universe. Please ground memories 1, 2, and 3, conscious, unconscious, superconscious. Please ground ego states, please. The memories, ego states, past memories, ancestral memories, past life memories, future memories. And please ground them into the benevolent matrix of the universe. Thank you. And I want you now just to go back into that end result, that beautiful end result that you're feeling. Just because I love it. And go back now that we've released some resistance to moving into this new structure, this new value system, allowing you to download the codes of the fifth dimension, allowing you to download that trust, faith of the unknown and the unlimited aspect of oneness. When you've downloaded those codes, and go now and look at your values, revisit them, reword them, tap into the frequency of them, how they feel. If you've got any questions, please reach out to me, let me know. If you want any more information on, maybe we'll do another session on values next week where we actually go and visit what we've written down and maybe we can talk it through. My one-on-one clients, revisit your values. We'll talk about that in our sessions. I hope you enjoyed today's session. From my heart to yours, sending you so much love, and enjoy creating from this higher state of consciousness, from the higher mind, from the place of unlimited potential, with no judgment, no comparison, just because you love it. Okay, I will stop recording, and I will check on Facebook to see if we need anything. But all right, I will see you next week at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time.